Hello, everyone. Remember, there's always a dark side and a light side to life. Now, which one are you going to pick, light or dark? That's always a tough call. Like there, there's always choices, and I know there's like Game of Life Star Wars Edition back in the day, but we're doing 3 episodes in a row that focus entirely on chocolate. So it's kind of hard to pick which of two things I want to talk about. But let me ask you this: which chocolate rider is your favorite? Is it Valen Chocodan or is it Gavv Chocodan? But let's talk a little bit about white chocolate because it's a little interesting. So as we already know, chocolate comes from a fruit that grows in Mesoamerica, and of course inside this fruit you have seeds, and the seed is roasted and fermented, not in that order, in order to make dark chocolate. But how is white chocolate made? Well, whenever you crush cocoa fruit, or rather the seeds, it leaves behind an oily substance. This oily substance, when cooled, becomes what is known as cocoa butter. Now, obviously, it has liquid form and solid form, and in order to make white chocolate, you have to use cocoa butter instead of the actual cocoa seed. And what you do is you grind it for 24 hours with sugar crystals, because you gotta make sure that the sugar crystals are very finely powdered. Otherwise, it's going to leave this nasty texture. And of course, the cocoa butter is in its liquid form, not its solid form. And after you have went through that 24-hour process of grinding, you have to use powdered milk as a filler, and then you finish off the process the same way you would with dark chocolate. Tampering, refrigerating, etc. Now, what's really interesting about cocoa butter compared to the cocoa fruit is cocoa butter has a much, much, much higher melting point, which means that if you're going to make like chocolate textured statues, like say a chocolate statue, like say for a wedding cake, you're more likely to use the white chocolate as the material, because it takes longer for white chocolate to melt compared to dark chocolate. And even if you line up dark chocolate, milk chocolate, white chocolate in order from the highest cacao percentage to the lowest cacao percentage, the less cacao there is, the longer it takes for it to melt. Up until the white chocolate being taking the longest, because it has the highest melting point. But in any case, no matter what form of chocolate you consume, definitely keep it refrigerated. Keep it refrigerated until use. And if you want to do the traditional way, always get some cocoa powder, mix it with some milk, and you got some hot cocoa just in time for the holidays. I like mine with peanut butter. I know some people are weird about it, but we're here to discuss one and only Kamen Rider Gavv, episode 8, Dual Chocolate. That's right, 2 different kinds of chocolate all at once. Good stuff. Wonderful. And incidentally, in this episode, not only do we get both writers in their Chocodan form, but also we have the Chocodan assist, because every single one of the Gochizos has an assist form. So, for example, Poppin' Gummy's assist form is Soda Knuckle. For Zaka Zaka chips, we have Hiri Hiri chips, which are spicy. And for Chocodan, we get a second gun made of white chocolate. At least in the episode, it looks like it's made of white chocolate, because the little bars form the gun, they look white. So I would assume it's made of white chocolate, which kind of fits to the theme of today's fun snack fact for this episode. And let's get right into it. I was actually kind of interested in how they're going to have like a bad guy continue from here because honestly, it really did look like the main villain, at least the villain of the episode, the sardine guy, was fully killed off. So I was thinking, like, would there be like a second sardine guy who would show up? Would Glotta be the main villain, or what if there's like a second villain that are not in the works? Now, I'll tell you what is an incorrect answer, but would still be a fun answer. The old lady in the previous episode. It'd be interesting if she was working with the. It would be interesting if she was working with the Granude because it is kind of interesting. Like, why would there be like such a huge string of artists missing? And when you think about the fact that, hey, you know, this old lady is housing artists. Like, what if this is part of some big trap? Like, she lures a bunch of artists into her house, and then this guy turns them into press. That would have been an interesting plot point. It's not the correct plot point, but it is a plot point. So that's kind of for. And unfortunately, that's not really the case. But you know, I still accept it. And yeah, turns out the old lady just happens to be nice. Now you're probably thinking, well, freaking Sachika knew her for a long time. Like, how was she able to hide the fact that she's a Granude? Hey, happenstance. Hey, like, just because Sachika is always happy doesn't mean that she has to be the one to, like, be taken. For one, that could be an intimacy thing. Second, she keeping Sachika around would help Sachika be used as bait to some capacity. You know, just some ideas. And yeah, so basically, the female artist who was pressed in the previous episode, she's broken free, returned, but she doesn't have complete memory of what happened, but she knows that the art dealer is gone, so she's safe for now. But of course, Sachika seems noticeably upset because she has paint on her face because that male art painter was like just like not fooling around. Unfortunately, yeah, no, it seemed like he really wasn't into that one chick. He was just jealous that she got accepted by an art dealer and he wasn't. But unfortunately, his luck is about to change. Not in the way that we want it to change. So going into some things real quick, Sachika like acknowledges with the old lady and with Hishoma that yeah, she's super happy-go-lucky. She wants to help people, but she oversteps boundaries, which is why people get upset with her. We haven't seen this yet until last episode, but at least we acknowledge. And you know, I find it interesting because there's truth to that. You know, sometimes we want to help people out, but people don't want us helping them out. Sometimes people just need their space. And as much as we want to like give ourselves to be helpful, that's the last thing they need. Sometimes people just need space, and I totally respect that. That is actually something I had to learn the hard ways. Sometimes I needed space. Sometimes I needed to give space. It happens to the best of us. And I appreciate that they gave Sachika this depth where it's like, yeah, being happy-go-lucky and trying to help everyone isn't always isn't what they need from her. I like that character depth because you have characters like Hotaro Ichinose. It's like I know, like I went a nice couple of episodes without mentioning Gotchard, but here I am. Gotchard is way too happy-go-lucky, trying to help way too many people, and somehow it always works out at the end. You know, even with Gentaro Kisaragi, who is the GOAT, he is also happy-go-lucky, but not everyone accepts him right away. So he needs to learn to use different ways of being happy-go-lucky in a way where like people accept him afterwards. It doesn't change who he is, but he's also not perfect. That's why Gentaro is awesome while Hotaro is not. This is why Sachika is awesome, but Hotaro is not. But yeah. Okay. So yeah, we got some acknowledgement of stuff. And of course, Hanto finds out from Suga. And also, well, to be fair, he found out by fighting Glotta, from whom he barely escapes. But Suga confirms to him that Granutes can disguise as humans. It's like they're wearing clothes, but there is only one way to determine whether a human is a Granute or not, and that is the fact that they cannot hide the Gavv on their abdomen. Now, obviously, he doesn't call it Gavv, he just says the giant mouth on their abdomen, which we saw in the previous episode. Looks really gross because of the prosthetic seam lines. And of course, speaking of Granutes, the twins, more black and white right here, the twins got fired because they were caught lying. Because it's like, there's some guy with the red Gavv who's like fighting us and stuff. I swear it's not our fault. Yeah, well, Glotta fought a guy. And she says he doesn't have a red Gavv. What? That makes no sense. You two are fired. And of course, Glotta says, I still love you, my sweet little brother and sister. But as employees, y'all suck. We don't see any of the Summit family members from here on. We just know that Yelv is ordered to do more reinforcement procedures on future part-timers. And of course, we find out that Sardine guy survived, and he's being healed up by a bunch of tiny Sardine clones. So we get an art dealer from Sardinia, who has a very noticeable fake nose and mustache. I'm like, how is anyone buying that? Like, it's crazy how no one can tell that it's a fake nose and mustache. It's like watching that episode of Ninja Storm all over again, where Blake and Hunter try to meet their adopted grandma, but then it's Mara and Capri in disguise. So Capri has all that prosthetic on, and it's not even put on well enough that her nose is just flying around all over the place. And the two are like, ugh, while Mara's in the back just laughing her butt off. Yeah. But no, it is clever that you got a sardine monster from Sardinia. That was just perfect. This is actually really good comedy, and the best part is, I actually got the joke. Okay, here's the thing: Japanese humor has certain phrasings that it's like you have to get it to get it. If you don't get it, you're not gonna get it. And I understand some Japanese humor, just not all Japanese humor, because Japanese wordplay is very difficult. For example, if I were to make a joke about being an English teacher in Japan, I'm not an English teacher or in Japan, but I would probably have the numbers 1 through 4. I would probably have the numbers 1 through 4 right next to me. I'd be like, Ichigo, Nigo, Sango, Yongo, Eigo. See, like, if you don't know what the word ego means, like, you would not get the joke. When I tell that joke to, like, Japanese speakers, like, they love it. They think it's hilarious. Ichigo, Nigo, Ichigo, Nigo, Sango, Yongo, Ego. I had a few other jokes that fall into Japanese humor. But what I appreciate is that this is not Japanese humor. This is Italian humor, something I am much more familiar with. Yeah. Yeah, so you got a sardine monster from Sardinia. It like it's just it's just so perfect. And also I'm just curious, like, did what's it called? Did freaking did sardines actually come from Sardinia, or like, is it just a coincidence that that they just happen to have the same name? Yeah, I very much doubt it though, but yeah, actually they are from Sardinia. Well, most of the population is really close to Sardinia, which is why they're called sardines. But I just did not want to assume. I did not want to assume that. But yeah, they're common in both India and Italy, but because there's such a huge population of this fish in Sardinia, of course they're gonna be called sardines. But oddly enough, Sicily makes more dishes with sardines than Sardinia does, so that's kind of odd. See, you're getting two different kinds of food facts today. You're getting facts about white chocolate, and you're getting facts about sardines. Fun fact, sardines are also used to make... You want to hear this one? You ready for this one? You ready for this one? Worcestershire sauce. That's right. Worcestershire sauce is made out of sardines, while Caesar dressing is made out of anchovies. Yeah, and yes, I did say it right because the sauce came from the region of Worcestershire. But yeah, sardines, and chocolate, two things that should not go together. But because now that Hanto and Shoma both know that the monster is disguised as a human and is hunting artists and possibly has a giant mouth on its abdomen. By the way, Suga does not have a mouth on his abdomen, so he's definitely not. A granute, but doesn't rule out the possibility that he might be a human working with granutes. But with that in mind, they try to spill the tea on the art dealer's identity. See what I did there? And of course, it is revealed that he is in fact a granute. People pass out. The old lady passes out. The two guys chase after it. While the artist guy gets upset. It's like, I knew people didn't like my artwork. It was just a ploy just to turn me into human candy. I'm like, you do realize that your sculptor friend was also targeted to become human candy, which is why her art was chosen. So at worst, you're both equally talentless. Anyways, so Sachika figured out like why she's pissed. She came to terms with the fact that she's pissed off, and rightfully so. So while the two riders, both in their chocolate forms, try to shoot out this monster, he keeps coming back as if he's immortal. Sachika gets so angry that like she dumps yellow paint all over him. It's like, how dare you piss off that artist? He worked so hard to make that painting, and you just simply gave him hope just because you wanted to turn him into human candy. Those were not her actual words, but I still love the grit on her. And one thing I do appreciate is that when Shoma transforms, he tries to hide his transformation from Hanto. So the both of them are both completely trying to hide their identities from each other, like they're total dorks. But of course, while they're trying to shoot down the sardine guy, it turns out when he's brought back to life, the paint's completely gone. That's suspicious. So now, what's interesting is that Shoma does some investigation. So while Valen is trying to fight off the sardine Granute, the Shoma is like carefully like looking around and figures out that the dude is making sardine clones of himself. He's making clones of himself. It's like Wishy-Washy from Pokemon. And of course, like they reveal who the real monster is, and they use their combined chocolatey finisher in order to defeat him. But first, Shoma does use the Chakudan assist, which creates a second gun made out of white chocolate. And I actually did Google image search, and it is white chocolate, which is perfect because ebony, ivory. Get it? It's a Devil May Cry reference. Of course, he hands out the white chocolate gun to his teammates so that they're both dual wielding. It's like watching Devil May Cry versus. It's like watching Dante versus Bayonetta. And then they team up their finishing moves, and it's so beautiful. They defeat the monster. And also, Hanto recalls his request to get information on the Kamen Rider because Hanto doesn't want accidentally being exposed as being a Kamen Rider. Of course, Shoma's equally relieved because he himself is a Kamen Rider. And of course, they both want to keep their identity secret from both each other and from Sachika. And the trio walk off into the sunset while also having a painting that they received in gratitude. That's the episode. It was a fun one. This is a 10. I love it. The only downside is I wish the old lady really was working with the Granute just because it would have been a fun plot twist, but that's nitpicking. Even without that plot twist, it's still a fun episode. Plus, we get character development from Sachika. Like, we barely see her as a character. We just know that she's super happy-go-lucky. She wants to make other people happy. I get that. But we've never seen her, like, her character be the focus. And what makes it even better is that we have a whole two-parter to focus on her character. And we get depth, and we get, like, a legitimately good lesson from this. The lesson being, hey, you know, sometimes to make other people happy, we need to give them their space. Which is true. I love how it's not just like very face value, straightforward, blah, 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 blah. It's like we're getting some like very nuanced lessons in the show. And I appreciate that. Gotchard lessons were very superficial, like very basic. Like if I had to compare the two shows, Gotchard is the worst of Power Rangers Samurai, while Gavv is the best of Jungle Fury. Like remember that episode of Jungle Fury where Theo had to learn to like balance his life, take things one step at a time? Then Gotchard is not that. Gavv is that. This was a fantastic episode. 10 out of 10. It's milky, it's creamy, it's dark, it's white, it's chocolate coated, it's hazel filled, and roasted to perfection. Mwah. Fantastic episode. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I can't wait to hear more chocolate facts you got. By the way, happy Halloween and stuff. Oh, happy Halloween to you too. I know it's a week early, but still, just in case. Yeah, because Halloween's going to be, if I recall, on Thursday. So we're probably going to move Boom Boomer next week to Friday. Just in time for Dia de los Muertos. But with that in mind, yeah, we're going to shake up the schedule a little bit next week just to make sure there's time for everyone to enjoy Halloween. And of course, white chocolate. Exactly. White chocolate. You got the fruit, you got the butter, put them together. You got balanced, rich flavor. Yep. Sardine monster from Sardinia. I know, it's just, I don't even like fish, but that is a fantastic play. That is a fantastic play. I love it. It's perfect. With all that said, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Please be sure to follow, like, subscribe, comment, and all that other stuff. Share our videos on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Ding the bell icon to stay notified for our latest videos. Right here on the Morphin Network. On Mondays, we do Ultraman Arc. On Wednesdays, Kamen Rider Gavv. On Thursdays, Bakuaga Sentai Boom Boomer. Not next week because Halloween. And of course on Sunday, Kamen Rider Gaim. And in this week, we're doing a spring break special featuring Recha Sentai Tokuja. Recha Sentai Tokuja. And also check out our sister channel, The Buttery Show, where we do various movie reviews. And of course, if you want to follow me, you can find me on Instagram at Boken_Kabuto and on Twitch at twitch.tv/BokenKabuto. We hope you have enjoyed your stay with us on the Morphin Network. And we hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. And enjoy all that chocolate in moderation. We don't want you we don't want you guys dying from eating too much junk food. Let it be your joy, not your pain, all that stuff. Let it be the spice of your life. As we go into the next episode next week. Until next time, we'll see you all. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.